As I dwell in the oneness, a part of the whole, I realize all truth and I affirm my goal to live my life's purpose the rest of my days, unifying myself in the universal ways. I accept for my being the highest and best on my worldly endeavor in this physical quest. For this I give thanks. I accept it to be. I am in perfect balance and harmony. And so it is. Hey, fellow Earth Warriors, Life Path 11s, and all of us that are on our path, knowingly or not, to assist the shift in humanity at this time on this planet. I wrote that little affirmation back in the 1980s. And somehow, about 5 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I don't remember, it just flooded back into my head and became my daily affirmation. And that was also part of my beginning steps as I was in the beginning of transitioning from a very stressful life full of paths that were not my highest intention into shifting into something that felt good to me. And how did I do that? I did that with that daily affirmation and then allowing myself to feel the feeling of the wind in my hair and my face. Because if we think about affirmations and we think about the energy we're putting out in the world, affirmations are thoughts, and thoughts certainly do carry electricity or energy that will go out and create into the universe. But if you really think about it, think about feelings. How does your body feel when something happens? So you almost get in a car accident. Do you feel that in your whole body? That is a much more powerful energy than the energy of thought. That's why we, in order to consciously manifest a new path in front of us, it's more than our thoughts, which are important because our thoughts build like a snowball into emotions, but the things that hit us with a strong emotional impact are the things that are going to create experiences that come back into our life and mirror what we're putting out. Not just our thoughts, our feelings. And there is why we want to take a minute or 2 or 10 or 20 every morning, whatever suits you, to feel the feelings that we want to have in our future. Though that is not to be confused with denying the human experience, because we are physical beings. We are energetic beings in a physical body, and we are meant to experience all there is on the physical plane. So we have a fight or flight instinct, and we are meant to be wary of danger. What we're not meant to do is hold the feelings and the emotions for coming days and weeks and go over things in our head of how that went and what happened and what happened. In the moment, we are meant to react to danger, where we are physical, vulnerable beings in this physical shell. It's holding on to, and it's during our day when we're thinking about things that didn't go well and allowing that to grind in our gut and play over in our mind. Those are the thoughts we want to start to hold back and shift. We want to experience what's necessary and let the energy move through the body. Then we want to come back to ourselves, recognize We are an energetic being having a heck of a physical experience, especially now in these intense astrological times, which, by the way, is a T-square with Uranus and Saturn, I think, in the sun and moon. So it is a time of intense volatile change. Neptune is involved, which can be deep and deceptive. Things could be uncovered, things could be buried. We are the front lines in the most intense time for people who are especially conscious to be on this planet. And we are learning to manage our energetic self in this physical body at this time through our thoughts, emotions, and our breath. So that is my message from my guides today for this morning. Let's see what the cards have to say for August 3rd. Something for us to ponder. Something, whoever happens to be watching this video right now, you stop and take a breath and know that this message is meant for you and me. Okay, let's see what we get. The bottom of the deck is the Ten of Cups, the card of the happy family, and this is a card of deep emotion and joy for a life well lived. I'm going to ask us all to allow ourselves a minute to envision what that feels like to you. What does joy feel like? Not to envision the next job. Say you're unhappy in your job and you want a new job, so you are thinking that you want to do an affirmation. So many people will do, I want to make this much money, and for this much money I'm going to do this kind of work. So rather than that, what are you going to do when you've made that much money and you've done that kind of work? How are you going to celebrate that? How do you enjoy the pleasure of that? Do you take your family on a vacation? Do you go camping? Do you, sing at church? How do you celebrate? That's what you want to feel. Oh, I get all enthusiastic. The Lover's card is for us to know that in every minute we are making a choice. We are either choosing the path of our earthly desires, or we are choosing the path of our higher self, our higher knowing, and our soul's purpose. So our soul's purpose on this planet does include joy and pleasure, without a doubt. But it's joy and pleasure that comes from following our highest goals, our highest drives and joys, not necessarily our most earthly pleasures. Sometimes we are attracted to people who aren't good for us, and we know it, yet we just keep doing it because in the moment it feels good, rather than waiting for that person that we connect with deeply in the heart and live to be 95 with, holding hands and loving each other, sharing a life experience. Sometimes we want to eat those delicious things even though we know that our body is asking us to hold back and create a balance into remembering that our body is the vessel, that our breath connects us to our higher selves. So we're starting to be asked to look more intimately at the life we're living, which goes with, of course, what I talk about, as Joe Dispenza says, or the title of his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Us. It's about being conscious of the choices that we are making in our life, in our everyday life. And it's okay to choose whatever you want to choose, but be conscious of the choice that you're making. And fascinating, if we know I read my cards upright. The Two of Swords came in reversed. And so the Two of Swords is a card of choice and decisions. So it's really reinforcing the Lover's card that was also pulled, which is a card of choice. So the Two of Swords is a card of generally decision, which of course is choice. And in this card, besides that she was reversed, she's blindfolded and her swords are crossed in front of her chest, saying that her thoughts are blocking her from moving forward. So this is really a good time for us in this new moon coming up on August 8th to let go of whatever is blocking us from seeing clearly the path in front of us and where we choose to go. This, with the new moon coming on August 8th, again, with big other transits in the planets, is a time for us to step forward in whatever it is that we have a seed planted in our mind that we are not doing. This is a time for us to move forward and not get stuck where we are currently seated. So this is a little bit of, you know, and a call to action to reverse this, make the correct choices to envision where we want to go in order to create the steps in front of us that will bring us the happiness, the feeling of satisfaction and success and contribution that bring contentment to our hearts. So let's take off our blindfolds, recognize our connection through our breath. The swords are the element of air. It's not just thoughts, it is also our breath. So they are connected, they are the same element which connects us to all that is.